case, but if you're going to move something to a distressed situation, I mean, workouts are fairly common. I know Andy sitting next to me took over as a CEO, and they had a successful exit. So if you do understand the business, there are rescue methods to go about it. And
I guess the first thought that comes to mind for me is that, as I think about my portfolio, is we move too slow to take over. That we, you know, again, we're nice guys. We're in it for more than just money, right? That's what we say. We like this company. We love the CEO, and we're slow sometimes too.
I think it's a combination, Frank, of the points that both of you made, actually, which is, firstly, a lot of angels don't want to actually run businesses they've invested in. I wouldn't want to. I'm not a very good CEO. I've tried it. I'm not very good at it. So you know, the company's really in trouble if they appoint me the CEO. And the other thing is, angels often get involved too late. It is so, you know, the destruction value curve has already occurred. And what you've really got to do is, I think, as the board, it's the board's role to make sure that the CEO and the management team are fit for purpose all the time. Every 6 months they should be doing a kind of audit as such. I've never been involved in a situation where the founders have stepped in and successfully turned the business around. We have stepped in to stop fraud in a business. We've done that, and sadly, you know, that's happened once too many, on too many occasions for me. That is something very different from stepping in to actually turn the business around, and that's not a skill set I have. The distressed fund that I run, what we do is we use a very special financial form. It's financial restructuring that we do, which I'm very happy to share with anybody who wants to learn that afterwards, you know, over lunch or something. But it's not something that we would do as angels. So as an angel, I stay away from those situations.
How about similarities, though, between your distress fund and angel investing? Permjot, parallels come to mind?
Yeah, absolutely. The number one reasons why a company becomes distressed financially is because they haven't hit projections. So they you know, it's a classic situation we've all come across where they build in a cost base expecting revenues of here. And then when the revenues aren't there, the cost base is still there. The cost base is tied in for 2-3 years. How many times have you seen CEOs, and especially the old days, buy you know, huge properties for companies when actually that really wasn't needed, certainly in the first 3 or 4 years, and you've got all these empty desk syndromes. So we've all been to companies we've invested in, and we see the CEOs driving a better car than we have, you know, having a better, newer laptop than we have, and you just think, wow, that's where my money's going. Or the worst is there was one guy one company I invested in, who flew over to the United States every single month, you know, business class. And I don't travel business class, and I don't expect companies that I've invested in to travel business class until they are spending their own money, as in they're making profits. I have no problem with CEOs treat themselves very well, but it's got to be your own money, the company's money, as in profits, rather than angel investors' money.
But specifically to your question, where angels go in and take over running the company, those that I have not seen, generally speaking, don't work that well, because, you know, the angels don't really have their heart in it. They're trying to maybe save their investment. They're not as motivated as an entrepreneur or CEO that's brought in to do it, and I've not had any successes
Mike,
in that particular area.
You do sometimes get, like with again, Adventus. You've got I actually met Adventus through one of their angel investors, and the angel investor came into the business, and at the time they came in, took on a particular role. That is very different, and in this particular case, the team dynamics work very well. It worked well. It's still working very well, and I've backed that. I've backed that formula, because I think that's very, very different. Where an angel comes in, recognizing there's a skill gap in the management team, they've invested and they've joined the board. That to me is very different from an angel coming in to rescue business.
Yeah. But to put it positive, to use your words, Frank, like in my little angel fund, we've got 50 companies, and in each one of them there's at least a half a dozen angel investors. And what we're doing more and more now, and I think this is where the fun comes in, is we're, instead of dwelling on those that aren't doing well, say, okay, just do what you want, don't call us, we'll call you. And we're focusing on those that are doing well and that look like they can be shooting stars, and we're paying attention to them. So it's like, you know, the parents paying too much attention to the disadvantaged kids, as opposed to really nurturing the ones that have the talent and the ability and make them star performers. And I think we tend to not do that as angel investors. We like to fix things and solve problems rather than accelerate and work with those that could be big winners.
Well, how about we're touching on boards, and wanted to dig a little deeper into that. Good ones matter, I say, boards. Mike, you've got a lot of companies.
It's number one. In fact, for any of you who happen to be in Vancouver on the 27th, we're running another all-day workshop on building better boards. It's funny, we've done these now 4 times. It's Basil, myself, and a few others in the Vancouver area. And we get a full house every time we do this. It's a sellout event. We charge a few $100 for it, and there's a huge.
Can I get a press pass for that?
Yeah, sure. There's a huge appetite, and it tells me that people really do want to learn about this.
So what are the secrets? Give us a little bit of value from that. What are the keys to building a successful board, Mike?
Well, that's a question we'd all like to have a quick answer for. It's getting tougher and tougher to get directors because of the responsibility, the time commitments. It's kind of a thankless job. Myself am trying to get off boards. One of the little tricks I do on the investment side is I ask companies, and this is in my term sheet, and it's funny, they always give you this. They won't always like what you say about putting together a board, but I ask for observer status. And that's sort of an innocent thing. And it's actually a good takeaway item for you folks here today. If you're negotiating a term sheet, ask for observer status, because what it means is that basically you're going to get the same information that the board gets, whether it's monthly or quarterly. You can walk into a board meeting and be a fly on the wall and listen, because one of the things that I find with companies, especially those that are going off the rails a little bit, the war stories, the communication stops. The entrepreneurs stop telling you, they stop giving you the rosy updates because they're ashamed or embarrassed or something. And if you have that right, which is a very easy right to get, you can really be more on top of those investments, and you can talk to the other directors, and you can make sure that the right directors are in place. So if there's one little tip I'd leave you with today, if you don't want the owner's responsibility of actually being a director, be an observer.